Hello and welcome to Anime Recapped. Today we'll be covering episodes 1 to 4 from the first season of Dr. Stone. This is the first of 3 parts. Lay back and enjoy the recap. On the day that Taiju, a normal student with a lot of muscle at a normal school, wanted to confess to his crush, Yuzuriha, his friend, Senku, a science student whose sole goal is to go to space, bet that Taiju wouldn't do it, but Taiju was ready to profess once and for all, under a tree where Yuzuriha was waiting for him. Before he even spat a word out, he saw a blinding flash of green light in the sky which turned all humans and swallows into stone right that moment. But before the doom struck, Taiju shielded Yuzuriha and told her to hold on to the tree, and she did. They froze like that for millennia to come and pass. Taiju kept himself conscious by repeating to himself that he was going to confess to Yuzuriha as soon as he woke up from the petrification. After thousands of years had passed, he finally woke up inside a cave. Outside, he saw the tree where Yuzuriha was when they both turned into stone. She was still there, holding on to the tree, petrified. He went to thank her for being the person to keep him alive all these years. When he looks closer, on the tree were words carved to let him know to head downstream by none other than his best friend, Senku. Senku had woken up 6 months earlier and was able to stay conscious by counting the seconds, every day. He knew that the year was exactly 5738 on the 5th of October, exactly 3700 years after the petrification, even without a calendar or any time device, just his big galaxy brain. Senku took Taiju to his campsite where he has built a shelter that has a lab where he experiments on petrified swallows to bring back civilization, his newfound goal. He went to show Taiju the source of his experiment, which was in the cave that Taiju himself woke up in. It was nitric acid that he would collect and use on some petrified birds to see if the process that happened to him happened exactly as he would scientifically explain it. But so far nothing has worked. Nonetheless, he never gives up. He continues until a new idea strikes him, and soon something like that happens. He needs alcohol to speed up process of breaking the molecules even faster than 6 months, so Taiju takes on the duty to find grapes from which they can make wine, distill it to make alcohol, mix it with the nitric acid and have their miracle fluid. After many trials and errors to get to the final stage, Senku sees some success when he's able to revive a bird, in less than a day. The formula to revive civilization was acquired. What they needed to do was just pour the mixture on the statues and wake them up. Who was first didn't matter to Senku, so Taiju chose Yuzuriha to be the first. They went to the tree to revive her, but Taiju realized that Yuzuriha was naked, and he didn't want Senku to see her like that, so he told him to wait until they had made some clothes for her. But before they could pick their next target, a lion attacked them, making them book it immediately. Taiju wanted to stop and fight because the lions were compounding and running would become exhausting soon, making them easy to catch for the lions. But when Senku reminded him that he's not a fighter, just a brawn who protects his friends from harm, he remembers a student who was called a primate high schooler due to his immense strength and fighting skill, Tsukasa Shishio. He remembers passing by him when he went to Senku the first time he woke up. He takes Senku there and they use the mixture they intended for Yuzuriha on him. By this time, the lions have surrounded them ready to attack, but Tsukasa suddenly opens his eyes when the stone breaks from his body. Senku briefs him on the situation, and he immediately understands. With his immense strength, he punches and kills a lion, making the other lions run for their lives. Tsukasa introduces himself to Senku and vows to protect him and Taiju from then on. He also takes on the duty to hunt them food as he's faster than them too. One day as they're eating, Senku decides to advance their new livelihoods even more to accelerate their return to modern day by introducing agriculture, soap and mortar to build more stable shelters. He needs calcium carbonate from seashells and mentions that he will use it for 4 things but states only 3, which makes Tsukasa suspicious of him. Taiju gets the job done and in no time, they have a way to a proper hygiene. Later, Tsukasa asks him if he intends to revive everyone in the world, including ruthless people who start wars and take money from the innocent, or just the more important young people only. Senku tells him that he will revive every last one of them, and this brings them to a crossroad of their differences as Tsukasa punches one stone's head off, murdering it, if you may. Senku, seeing that Tsukasa poses a potential threat to humanity and his plans, makes sure that he will not reveal the miracle fluid to him, but to his dumb luck, Taiju comes running and screaming at the top of his lungs that he found more miracle fluid to revive Yuzuriha as they've made her clothes now. Senku has no other way but to reveal to Tsukasa the location of the nitric acid. He tells Taiju that the acid is not enough to make the miracle fluid, so he needs to go and get more, but instead of Taiju, Tsukasa volunteers to go and get the acid himself, which was Senku's plan to get him out of there. When Tsukasa is gone, he tells Taiju to revive Yuzuriha quickly so that even if Tsukasa decides to kill everyone who's still stone, Yuzuriha is spared. Tsukasa comes back while they're still talking about him and overhears that they think he's a murderer. Taiju takes him on, defending his friends, but just to be the punching bag if Tsukasa promises to leave the stone people alone. Tsukasa only hits him once when Senku shoots him with an arrow that he swiftly dodges, and Taiju is able to withstand it for a while before he collapses on the ground. Tsukasa leaves them with the promise that he will get rid of anyone who stands in his way. They soon devise a plan to make scientific weapons to defeat Tsukasa, seeing that they can't fight with someone like him. They first stage a panic and flee from their camp so that Tsukasa thinks that they got scared and run away, but Tsukasa is smarter than that. He knows it's only a ruse to mislead him, so he doesn't back down from finding them. They head to the nearest hot spring as an active volcano is there so they can find sulfur. With a mixture of charcoal, some potassium nitrate and sugar, they can make guns. The fourth thing that Senku intentionally omitted from telling Taiju and Tsukasa that time was that calcium carbonate can create gunpowder. Tsukasa figures this out soon and follows them to the nearest volcano too, as he knows if a gun comes to play, he won't stand a chance against them, and his biggest nightmare would repeat itself. Senku remembers the formula and successfully makes gunpowder, which Taiju accidentally lights up using iron pyrite, creating an explosion which gives away their location to not only Tsukasa but other people who could have survived the petrification. Soon, they receive a smoke signal some yards away from them, making them realize that they're not alone. Senku decides that for them to survive Tsukasa, they will have to get help from other people who could possibly be out there, make his guns and use them to buy Tsukasa's mercy. He knows that it won't keep Tsukasa from killing him and ruining his plans for civilization, because if Tsukasa gets his hands on a gun, they're royally screwed. But for now, if it means that he has to alert Tsukasa of his location just to let the other people know he's there, then so be it. Using the gunpowder, he fuels the fire to keep the smoke going, and in turn, he receives 3 smoke signals back. He sends Taiju and Yuzuriha to find anything that they can burn to keep the fire going to create more smoke. While Taiju is away collecting wood to fuel the fire, Tsukasa arrives at their location. He finds Yuzuriha first and holds her hostage. He asks Senku to give up information on the miracle fluid, or he'll kill Yuzuriha. Senku, at first, pretends like he doesn't care, but when Tsukasa shows him that he means business by cutting Yuzuriha's hair, he gets the message. Yuzuriha grabs Tsukasa's weapon and points it to her neck and tells Senku to not tell him anything. She's prepared to sacrifice herself for the benefit of civilization because she's just a useless girl. But Senku tells him the formula anyways, scared that Yuzuriha will die, which will be devastating to Taiju mostly. Tsukasa then asks Senku to give up science and his dream of civilization and go to space so that he doesn't get killed. Senku refuses, prepared to die. Tsukasa then deals him a blow at the back of the head, killing him instantly as he had wished just a minute before.